see it on the outside, only because I'm crying, but my body is on fire. But yeah.
Good morning and a hearty welcome to SLBC's 8 a.m. News Hour with me, Julian Kuma. Now coming up on the news this morning from Vice President of the Gambia, Fatoumata Gallo, leads a delegation to Sierra Leone to follow up on the progress of the Tripartite Committee report. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security says Feed Salon project has reduced about $20 million of importation of foodstuffs. And lastly, on the roster this morning, Ministry of Planning and Economic Development signs a fiduciary agreement with key ministries. Now those stories plus our update in travel and our business updates coupled with our entertainment and sport updates are all encapsulated in this news hour. Stay tuned if you can. Again, I thank you for still tuning in to the SLBC. Let's take up our first story. We had addressed some of the issues together with all the stakeholders, and now we have come back to listen to the stakeholders as they see how implementation of their agreement for the national unity. Those were the words of former Vice President of the Gambia, Fatoumata Gallo, who is leading a delegation to Sierra Leone to follow up on the progress of the Tripartite Committee report. Now, she was speaking during a courtesy call to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Timothy Kaba. Our reporter, Soe Kamara, has more on that story.
The former vice president of the Gambia is leading a delegation that comprises ECOWAS, Commonwealth, African Union, and United Nations. Fatoumata Gallo commended stakeholders in Sierra Leone for the role assigned to international guarantors in the implementation of the recommendations of the Tripartite Committee or the Agreement for National Unity. She emphasized the need for collaboration between government and other stakeholders and the need for electoral justice. Madam Jallow also commended the leadership of the presidents in the consolidation of peace and electoral reforms, and that they were back in Sierra Leone to listen to all stakeholders as to how they see the implementation of the agreements for national unity.
We will be coming from time to time. It's not monitoring and supporting. It's not one-time process. We support, we advocate, and at the same time we involve international partners to also support the process. So we're taking a holistic approach, and we are appreciating the necessity to come from time to time to monitor. Specifically, the objective would be to engage again all stakeholders, listen to them, to find out how they see the peace process, how they are living with the peace process, how they are working towards this national cohesion that is much needed, only not for Sierra Leone but for the rest of the continent.
Special representative of the UN Secretary General Leonardo Santos Simao and envoy of the Commonwealth Mbogoli Masaga also urged stakeholders to foster peace and move forward. The Commonwealth envoy said their role was to render technical assistance at the request of the people of Sierra Leone. He encouraged all parties to meet the expectations of their people and allow peace to be entrenched for Sierra Leone to be an example of a post-war nation. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Timothy Kaba told the visiting delegation that President Bio and other stakeholders were fully committed to the implementation of the tripartite committee. He noted ongoing parliamentary efforts and cross-party dialogues.
We have seen cross-party visitations. We've seen political leaders in the country meeting and discussing the progress of our country. Parliament is in full functioning. In fact, the government has in fact asked Parliament to come for an important deliberation. If it wasn't the intervention of our international stakeholders and the willingness of the local stakeholders to work together for the progress of our country, we will not have Parliament coming out from recess to respond to the need of government.
The tripartite committee, which comprises the government of Sierra Leone, main opposition APC, and international partners, was set up following the 2023 elections to review Sierra Leone electoral laws. Suri Kamara, SLBC News, Freetown.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Henry Musa Parker, briefed the press about Freetown Loan project held at UE building. Now, he said Sierra Leone saved about $20 million since the project was launched, and importation of rice, eggs, onions, and other local produce. He made this disclosure during a press conference held at the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security as a way to celebrate the achievement made thus far. Our reporter Christina Kamara has a full detail.
In an effort to inform the public on the progress made so far, the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has held a press conference to catalogue the achievements and progress of the feed saloon project. The project aimed at reducing the high rate demand of imported produce and also create job opportunity for Sierra Leoneans, especially women and youth. According to the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Dr. Henry Musa Parker, Sierra Leone has saved about $20 million of importation of eggs, chicken, rice, and onions since the Feed Saloon project started. He added that Feed Saloon project is a call to action, noting that everyone has a role to play.
The loan strategy was costing about $1.8 billion. To date, we have over 1 million in pledges, 1 billion in pledges, and some of these pledges are actually coming to fruition right here on the ground. So
he further highlighted that as a ministry, they aim to boost the agricultural sector together with the vision of the President, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, in minimizing the high rate of imported produce into the country.
There's also a call that the President has been making of everybody to stay engaged and that's very crucial, that everybody has a role to play. It's not only the farmers, but even the guys that buy food. If you're buying food, choose Sierra Leone products. If you choose Sierra Leone products, the farmers will make profits. If they make profits, more people will come in, the production will increase, and that's when the price comes down, and that's when we'll begin to see a lot of the food in the market.
The minister said the first step they took as a ministry was to translate the vision of the president into transformational strategic document, which is now the guiding document for the investment of the agri-food system. The minister also said that this year they gave seeds and fertilizers to farmers on time, adding that all the implementations were being set. The ministry has raised money for the strategic tune of $1.8 billion, and they have raised pledges close to $1 billion, and some of those partners who pledged are now in the country to make sure that the actual activities were being done. SLBC News are in Freetown, Christiana Kamari reporting.
Moving on to another story. Feasibility study are critical in project implementation, and as such, without well-conducted feasibility, it would be difficult to attract donor support for project implementation. Now, in other words, and address this challenge, the Ministry of Planning and Economic Development that they've signed a fiduciary agreement with the Ministry of Energy, Fisheries and Marine Resources and Communications, Technology and Innovation. Now, this agreement will also utilize the trusted expertise and leadership in various ministries to implement key developmental projects by the end of the year. Now, our reporter Dennis Frida has more. The SLBC will strive more to bring that report to you as and when it is available. Moving on to another story. The Northern Region Women's Network has provided educational support in form of school learning materials, cash and mentorship talks to the best performed girl of 2024 National Primary School Examination from all 7 districts in the entire region. Now, the engagement, which took place at Tonkolili District Council Hall in Mabroka, attracted various education stakeholders across the Northeast and Northwest region. A reporter from Mabroka, Abdul Karim Kanu, has more.
The award of certificates and presentation of educational materials and cash to the best performed girls at the 2024 National Primary School Examination, or NPSC, attracted pupils, teachers and parents from all 7 districts in the entire Northern Province. Addressing the gathering at the Tonkolili District Council Hall in Magboroka, President of the Northern Region Women's Network, Madam Aissatou Smith, said the group was launched in 2019 by Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo with the aim of supporting women and girls' development in the north of Sierra Leone, especially in the area of education. She said the girls are being supported to motivate them to continue to work hard even as they are now in secondary schools. Madam Smith asked the authorities in Tonkolili District to identify 2 schools where the group will provide complete wash facilities, including toilets.
Our main goal is to support, inspire, mentor, educate, develop and network with women and girls from all 7 districts of the North as a means of enhancing their capacities for meaningful participation in the political and socio-economic development of Sierra Leone, as well as improving their livelihoods.
Deputy Director of Education, Tonkolili District, Jibril Albert Sise, commended the Northern Region Women's Network for providing the education support and mentorship talk for the 2024 Best Performed NPSC girls drawn from Falaba, Koinadugu, Potloko, Bombali, Karine, Kambia and Tonkolili districts.
Sister, this is another Region Women Network 2024 Education Support and Mentorship.
Chairperson of the Tonkolili District Council, Madam Yabom Sise, reaffirmed the group's continued efforts to promote women and girls' empowerment through education.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I remain infinitely grateful to the Northern Region Women's Network for choosing Tonkolili District to host this great event. Thank you very much, my dear sisters. I also want to thank the Northern Region Women's Network for assisting us, for assisting the council during the corona epidemic.
Speaker after speaker, including Madam Aminata Toli, Dr. Frances Fona, and Madam Aminata Mansare, among several others, delivered mentorship talk on various topics to motivate the girls to take education seriously. The group also visited the Maboroka Correctional Center, where they provided sanitary kits to the female prisoners, and the Maboroka Government Hospital Maternity Ward, where they also supported pregnant and breastfeeding mothers, as well as some nurses with sanitary kits.
In a bid to combat school-related gender-based violence, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education and other line ministries and partners have launched a Safe Learning Technical Assistance Initiative. Now, this venture is expected to create a safer learning environment and end the discriminations in school. Our reporter Mohammed Koroma picks up the story.
The alarming rate of gender-based violence in schools was the primary factor that led to the launching of the Safe Learning Technical Assistance Initiative through a national dissemination event held by the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education and other line ministries. Through support from Global Partnership Fund for Education, Sierra Leone is among 2 countries that was identified to implement the initiative to end violence in schools.
Our partners, have identified violence in and around school as one of the key factors that actually affect effective learning, participation in learning. So the Global Partnership Fund for Education, a partner that is supporting most of the initiative, through most of the initiative that has been identified in our education sector plan, have identified that violence in and around school, especially school-related gender-based violence, is rampant in our communities.
Several educative sessions from national and international partners were held to present the actual perspective of how gender-based violence has impacted schools. However, it was established that even the pupils who are victims could also serve as perpetrators of violence in schools. The engagement was interactive as pupils present added their voices to the discourse, stressing the essence of a conducive learning environment. For Slbc, Mohammed Kouma reporting.
Moving on from that story, the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASET, has officially launched its annual Customer Service Week with a series of events aimed at honoring its customers and staff while extending a helping hand to the community. Our reporter Jonathan Turner has more.
The launch, held with much excitement, highlighted the importance of customer appreciation and service exchange within the organization. One of the notable guests at the event was retired Captain Mafule Bangua, a pensioner who served over 39 years in the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, ARSLAF. With a glowing sense of gratitude, retired Captain Bangoa shared her experience with NASIT over the years. She expressed deep appreciation for the staff's professionalism and dedication in ensuring that pensioners like her receive timely and consistent support.
You see, we came, they called us, and she gave us our check. We went to the bank, we received our salary. Now, at the end of every month, I don't think only a pensioner who wants to lie. I don't think there's any pensioner who is not receiving his or her salary. I can challenge anyone.
The week-long celebration included various events such as donations to the rainy season orphanage, reaffirming NASIT's commitment to supporting vulnerable groups in society. The donation is a reflection of the organization's dedication to social responsibility beyond its core mission of ensuring financial security for the nation's workers. Additionally, the week featured an update day where customers were encouraged to visit NASIT offices to update their personal details, ensuring that their status remains current and their benefits are processed efficiently. This initiative was particularly important for pensioners and contributors alike, as it helps prevent delays in payments and allows NASIT to maintain accurate records. Speaking at the launch, NASIT Director General Mohamed Fuad Dabo emphasized the value of NASIT's customers, referring to them as the organization's greatest assets. He assured the audience that NASIT remains committed to providing timely and reliable benefits to all its members.
For the fact that people are testifying that will make difference in their lives, for the fact that people believe NASIT should be a way of life and we should exist, that makes us proud. I think well in our slogan, NASIT will do what? We care. NASIT, we care. It sings well into that slogan.
To further boost morals and acknowledge exceptional service, certificates were awarded to staff members who have demonstrated efficiency and effectiveness in dealing with customers. The recognition served as a reminder of the vital role the NASIT staff plays in maintaining the organization's reputation for customer care and service delivery. As Customer Service Week progresses, NASIT's efforts to blend customer appreciation with community outreach continue to showcase the organization's commitment to not only serving its members but also contributing to the well-being of Sierra Leonean society as a whole. For SLBC News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
The National Grand Coalition, otherwise known as NGC Party, has held a press briefing to address rumors surrounding the suspension of the previous acting chairman of the party. Now, Jasmed Suma and the dissolution of the alliance between the party and the Sierra Leone People's Party. The briefing was held at the party's headquarters at Naimbana Street in Freetown. Our reporter Stella Bangura has more.
The National Grand Coalition Party acting chairman and leader Alhaji Amadou Sharif called on media houses to affirm the suspension of the then chairman and leader Jasmed Suma and to clarify rumors pertaining his suspension. He said that the party, being a democratic body which upholds the value of the country's constitution, is also operated by the party's constitution. Acting chairman and leader Alhaji Amadou Sharif told media houses the facts and outcomes of their previous meeting, which was organized and chaired by the then chairman Jasmed Suma on the 5th of October 2024, contrary to rumors stating his absence. According to him, the suspension of Mr. Jasmed Suma was in line with the party's constitution in Section 16, subsection 3, which mandates the National Executive Committee, NEC, to discipline members for any misconduct.
Mr. Kunete stated the following reasons why Mr. Jasmed Suma should be suspended from the party. Number one, for unilaterally suspending two senior party members, Mr. Theophilus Morris, alias DJ Million, and Mohamed Ali Diallo, alias Maj, without following the constitutional procedures of our party. Number 2, for unilaterally increasing the membership registration and subscription fees of our party without the approval of the National Executive Committee and the National Delegate Conference, which is contrary to our party constitution. Number 3, denouncing the alliance publicly in the media without the approval of the National Executive Committee and National Delegate Conference, which is considered as anti-party activity, and for also putting our party in disrepute and public ridicule.
For these reasons, according to the acting chairman, is a violation of Section 52, subsection 1 of the party's constitution, resulting to the suspension. He also clarified misinformation on the dissolution of the alliance between the National Grand Coalition, NGC, and the Sierra Leone People's Party, SLPP.
And we entered into alliance through the National Executive Committee and ratified by the Delegate Conference, the National Delegate Conference. We had agreed. But he went on air and publicly denounced and apologized on behalf of the party for going into alliance with the SLPP. And that was not our agreement. It is on record that our party formally entered into an alliance with the ruling SLPP in which he, Jesmet Suma, was signatory to that particular alliance agreement. Members of the press, this is Mr. Jesmet Suma's signature.
More information on the alliance, he said, will be disclosed on December 14th, 2024, during the party's National Delegates Conference, which will be held in Makeni. Executive members of the party also addressed issues of misinformation on the suspension of Jesmet Suma and asked that members of the party and the press continue to foster unity and rebrand the image of credibility of the party. For SLBC News Hour in Freetown, Stella Bangura reporting.
United we stand. We stand united. United we stand. We stand united.
In other news, Sierra Leone has joined the rest of the world in commemorating the 2024 International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, a crucial observance aimed at promoting global efforts to mitigate the impact of disasters. This year's theme, Empowering the Next Generation for a Resilient Future, underscores the importance of education in disaster preparedness and resilience. Now we turn to Mohamed Toure for more detail.
Across the globe, communities are commemorating the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. Here in Sierra Leone, the focus is on empowering the youth, equipping them with the knowledge and tools to build a safer, more resilient future. Schools have become a central part of this initiative as the National Disaster Management Agency incorporate disaster risk reduction into their curricula, ensuring that students are not only aware of potential threats but also know how to respond effectively. According to the Director General of the National Disaster Management Agency, Lieutenant General Richard Bremasise, the activities are designed to reinforce the practical aspects of disaster preparedness, ensuring that both children and adults know precisely what to do in an emergency made. The agency has trained young people on various types of disaster based on their cause, prevention, and how to respond to them. In August 2023, the agency trained teachers across the country on disaster issues and engaged stakeholders to include disaster-related issues into the school curriculum.
Since the establishment of NDMA in 2020, it has recorded 492 disasters across Sierra Leone, with 103 that have impacted the education sector directly. These are mostly climate-related disasters from windstorms, fires, and floods. In 2022, the Miltimagai School for the Blind along Wilkinson Road in Freetown had a fire disaster when over 50 of our visually impaired colleagues were sleeping. These disasters have disrupted the learning process and affected over 30,000 people across the country. Series of buildings and wall fences have also collapsed this year, responsible for 31 deaths, amongst which are school-going children.
Honorable Kande Yomkela, Chairman, Presidential Initiative on Climate Change, Renewable Energy and Food Security, informed the gathering that the government will continue to find more ways to secure more finance to tackle the issue of disasters. He further stated that people are causing disaster to happen. Building awareness is what is needed through engagement, as the majority of the disasters happening in the country are man-made. The Deputy Minister 1, Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Emil Goga, said that schools have become a central part of the initiative. A blind student from the Prince of Wales Secondary School, Sir Sakbo, told the gathering that this year's theme is a reminder that children are the future. By investing in the education and safety, they are investing in the long-term resilience of the country. SLBC News, Mohamed Lamento reporting.
The Yeliboya community is located off the coast of Sierra Leone and is well known for its vibrant landscape and marine life. However, like many coastal areas in the country, the Yeliboya Island is increasingly vulnerable to flooding, particularly during rainy season. Our intern reporter Abubakar Kamara put this story together.
Yeliboya Island is part of the northern part of the country and is situated approximately 30 kilometers from Cambia district. The island's economy is primarily based on fishing and tourism. The island's geographical features including its low-lying terrain and closely to the Atlantic Ocean, which makes it vulnerable to both flooding and storm disasters. Flooding on the Yeliboya community poses significant challenges to the local population, affecting economic activities and public health. Padikali Baizo Bangrura is the town chief at the community. He said that the flooding occurs every year, and this the experience has destroyed their houses and other properties. Their school, hospital, and all they need is relocation to Maila community. But they need government support and other organizations to help them relocate to a safe side. President of the Yeliboya Student Association, Mohamed Alpha Omar Ubangura, said the people have suffered a great loss of their properties, stating the need for a quick fix, relocation site, and afforestation of the mangroves.
Indeed, on the 19th of this month, our people suffer a great loss due to the flooding. Many houses were flooded. People lost properties, including animals. And amidst this difficulty, that was why we as a body of students, people that hail from this island, we thought it fit that we need to advocate to government to see the need to come to the aid of our people. Because at many angles, people were saying that the people of Yeliboya are not willing, they are not willing. This will be a testament. You all can see, this is the chief, the other stakeholders, they are willing for any development that government is ready to render or to come to the aid of our people.
Alusain Fuad Sawane, the head teacher at the Kankele Islamic Primary School, and Alassane Fofana, senior teacher at the Cambia District Education Council Primary School, both express how sad and devastating it is for them as teachers in their respective schools about the sudden flooding that took place on the 19th September. They also explain how strenuous it is for the children attending the above-mentioned schools and for them also as teachers.
For where the water can pull in, yeah? So we can now neighboring school when a kid is school. They will come make a temporal place of picking and get for the ground. Now we don't make we just see the nip and the old don't make. We don't make a recent because the water just pull it.
Challenges them learning able day effectively like compare before. Because the water destroy the learning materials, chalk, and due to Dande, Boku picking any kind of school. Actually, the management is very poor because who much is given, much is expected because the material we left not sufficient and efficient for the learning process in the school. So we go through a lot.
Flooding on the Yeliboya community poses significant challenge that needs urgent attention with a comprehensive approach. Abdul Kabir, SLBC News, Freetown.
Just tuning in, this is SLBC's 8 a.m. news hour with me, Julian Goma. Let's forge on to another story. Our staff members of the Sierra Leone Embassy in Turkey have bade farewell to the outgoing ambassador Mohamed Hassan Kaisamba after his term of office. Ambassador Mohamed Hassan Kaisamba was the first ambassador of Sierra Leone in Turkey when he was appointed by President to Turkey in 2020. The head of the Chancery, Mrs. Clara Fatmata Kouma, thanked the outgoing head of mission for his astute leadership in conscientizing the bilateral relationship between Sierra Leone and Turkey. She added that the good legacies left behind by the outgoing head of mission would be kept and protected. The deputy head of the mission, Ambassador Paul A.S. Mina, described the outgoing ambassador as a bedrock of the embassy, adding that his interaction with management and staff without compromising his work was worth admiring. Ambassador Mohamed Hassan Kaisamba expressed his profound thanks and appreciation to God Almighty, who has guided him throughout his diplomatic journey in Turkey. Now that concludes that story. Forging on to another important story. Now, in a significant development and move towards achieving the Feed Salon agenda, the Sierra Leone Seed Certification Agency has conducted a capacity building session of the agency's newly recruited field inspectors and seed laboratory technicians on the operations of the agency and the expected roles at the training held in Mile 91, Tonkolili district, with support from Slari. Our reporter Ibrahim Samora has more.
Experts in agriculture say for every agricultural productivity starts with high quality and certified seeds, and it is believed that access to quality seeds for farmers would be the bedrock to achieving the Feed Salon agenda, the main priority of the government's Big Five game changers. It was against this backdrop that these newly recruited field inspectors and seed laboratory technicians were brought together to be schooled on the operations of the Sierra Leone Seed Certification Agency and their expected roles in discharging of their duties in the field. Executive Director, Sierra Leone Seed Certification Agency, Dr. Robert Chakanda, told the field inspectors and seed laboratory technicians that the session was an eye-opener in ensuring that seed growers produce quality seeds. Dr. Chakonda informed the participant that for the Feed Salon to succeed, quality seeds were crucial for every agricultural productivity. The reason, he said, they were recruited through the advice of the Minister of Agriculture to the Finance Minister.
What we are doing here today, as you have asked, is training our field staff. Recently, we have employed, through the assistance or the provision of the Minister of Finance, we have strong plans to them. We have employed up to 20 field technicians, which makes every district in this country to have at least one field technician. The remaining ones will go into other aspects of inspection of stores, inspection of field shops, inspection of other areas of the seed program. So this training is that eye-opener for them. It is actually the very first in-house training for them to tell them their responsibilities, to know exactly what they do, starting from the scratch.
Slbc was tasked by the government through the Minister of Agriculture to increase quality seed to ensure agricultural productivity and compliance.
And that we need to test seed, to look at the moisture content of seed, to look at the germination percentage of seed, to look at the disease cause of seed. The best equipment in the world we have in this laboratory, because some of them are coming from the IEA, International Atomic Energy Institute, and they are very, I would say they're the latest on the market. So we are very proud of this laboratory. Once we get this done, and it is now like 98% complete, we are sure of the quality of seeds that we're using in this country.
So besides the Tamba Jumu is the project manager, Sierra Leone Agribusiness and Rice Value Chain Support Projects. He described quality seeds as the lifeblood for agricultural productivity, and Slbc is paramount to the actualization of the government feed salon agenda, noting the reason the Slbc project has been providing both technical and logistical assistance to Slbc for institutional strengthening.
This is one of the best in the sub-region. This is the national seed testing lab, and this is going to be helping the seed certification agency to do their, like, as the executive director have just taken us through all the stages where the seed comes into the lab, from the entry point onto the finishing point, but the idea is, like, we want to be self-sufficient in seed and strengthen the seed business in Sierra Leone. So we cannot do that if we don't have this lab. And this lab is very, very key and pivotal in ensuring that even the feed support the feed salary agenda. We are big area for storage of feed. In case of any shock, then we can come back to the seed lab and take the seeds out, and we can give farmers multiplication. So
Lead facilitator and lecturer at Jala University, Dr. Tamba Steven Sonda, food scientist and nutritionist, underscored the role of field inspectors and seed laboratory technicians in seed certification, stating they played a vital role in ensuring seeds meet quality standards. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
Moving on, street traders in Lumley have called on the authorities to stop harassing them. They pleaded that there are insufficient marketplace where they may do their business, and they have asked the authorities to allow them to do their business freely until the government provides a suitable place for them to do their business. Our reporter Ansumana Kagbo put together this report. Let's have a look.
Street trading is gradually increasing in the west of Freetown. Lumley has been a hub now for business, linking Aberdeen and Lumley beaches, Wilkinson Road, Wilberforce, Peninsula, and other areas. This attracts many people in the western part of the capital to buy various commodities which they consider as reasonable, save time and cost compared to going all the way to the central business district and the east end to buy goods. For this reason, street traders have taken up the advantage to market their businesses at that particular vicinity, especially at night. Many of these business people said that they are single parents and get their livelihoods from their businesses. A businessman, Muhammad Bangua, appeals to governments to relocate them. Another businesswoman, Nene Monica, also appeals to governments to allow themselves around the area until they are provided with a market space.
We dey beg Papa God, we dey beg Papa government. Let make market for the trader there. We go better for we. I do this business and they will take care of me, pikin and my family. My man don't die. I got 6 pikin. We dey beg Papa government. Let them help the trader them.
Christiana Cole also said that once they have a marketplace, they will no longer do business on the streets.
Police and the council, let them give me one chance. Only they run after me. Police do anything that he calls out for yourself.
It is hoped that the government will build marketplaces for traders in Sierra Leone in the bid to ease the traffic congestion within the city.
Now that concludes our capture of national news. Let's pivot our mind towards the update in sports.
Hello and welcome to Sports Updates on the News with me, Mohammed Lamento. In this edition of the update, the Closet Creation Development Organization has commenced the 23rd edition of their Inter-Community Football League at the Lunge Central Field, Kafobolo. The tournament, which is sponsored by Babadi Kamara, saw thrilling and colorful opening ceremony as Fire Rangers defeated Battle Rangers FC by 4-0. Esther Marie Samoa was there and her reports.
The Lunge playing field hosted dignitaries in a tightly contested match between Fire Rangers and Beltel Rangers FC, with the kickoff taken by the paramount chief, flanked by Honorable Abdul Kabo, among others. Just in the first minute into the match, Mohamed A. Kamara opened the scoring with a phenomenal strike, and Bokai Conte doubled their lead in the 20th minute with another strike into the back of the net of Beltel Rangers. It was a goal gallery as Fire Rangers Ibrahim Kamara scored the third goal deep into the first half. The second half of the match saw a more resilient Fire Rangers side as Fubara sealed their overwhelming victory with his fourth goal. Head coach of Fire Rangers Hassan Conte said they came prepared, having been absent from the competition for over 10 years. He maintained that they will be eyeing the championship as a well-structured and determined side. On behalf of Babadi Kamara, Pa Ali Sise said Babadi Kamara, as a football philanthropist, decided to support the organization, providing them with 100,000 new loans and 45 balls. Honorable Abdul Kago said he is yet to see a more consistent organization like the Closet, especially the efforts they are making in promoting development in Sierra Leone. He said they will continue to give their support to the organization. President of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Thomas Daddy Bremer, who expressed gratitude about the football development under his watch, said in the next 2 weeks, the people of Lunge will get a positive feedback about the rehabilitation of the field as it was part of the FIFA-funded project. The paramount chief of Kafubolom Chiefdom commended the organization for always leading the way in terms of football development in the chiefdom. He called on the SLFA boss to consider their chiefdom as they look forward to having a turf at the venue. According to him, it was a huge challenge for their premier side, Lamboy FC, now Bolom Stars, playing their entire home matches away from home. The success of this year's league cannot be overemphasized.
The opening ceremony, it's actually drawn a lot of people from nook and cranny of Kafubolom, Pogloko, this and West region, and even Sierra Leone as a whole. Of course, we saw lots of people across Sierra Leone that have actually converged today to ensure that they witness this opening ceremony of the 24th edition. Kamara, the chairman for South Arena, and that of Mbo Rangers, is the chief sponsor of this year's 24th edition of the tournament. Of course, at the end of the day, before we climax the ceremony, the 4 finalists will have to decide. What we did last year was that the winner had the majority of the fund, and that of the runners-up get about 40% of the 100 million. So
the organization has opened a junior and secondary school through the revenue they have been generating from their football competition. These pupils are products of the organization.
And now in the international scene, the Nigeria Football Federation has withdrawn the Super Eagles from the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Libya. The decision follows a 12-hour delay at Libya International Airport, where the team was left stranded. The NFF has facilitated the team return to Nigeria. The Confederation of African Football (CAF) has responded to the situation. Last September, CAF head of communication stated that the organization is aware of the issue and it is in communication with both Nigeria and Libya team. But that's your sport. Thank you very much for joining me. Goodbye.
Now, certainly this is where News Hour at 8 has to draw the curtains down, but as always, we'd like to give you a reminder of our top stories. Now, the first one, former Vice President of the Gambia, Fatoumata Gallo, is leading a delegation to Sierra Leone to follow up on the progress of the Tripartite Committee report. Now, it could be recalled that the former Gambian Vice President led the negotiation between the government and the main opposition party, APC, after the 2023 elections. Moving on, Minister of Agriculture and Food Security said Sierra Leone project has reduced about $20 million of importation of foodstuffs. Now, the aim of the government is to reduce food importation to a considerable amount within the next 5 years. And lastly, Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has signed a fiduciary agreement with key ministries. Other ministries include Planning and Economic Development, Energy, Fisheries and Marine Resources, and Communications Technology. Now, those end the whole capture of News Hour at 8 with SLBC. I have been your presenter, Julian Kuma, telling you have a nice Tuesday. Goodbye.